15 years on, Vicente Lizarazu relives his moment of glory with the Bavarian club. And the story of Francisco Gento, the most successful player in European Cup history.
We are what we are.
We are what we are.
We are what we are.
We are what we are. A powerful club motto deeply ingrained within FC Bayern. It's a value through which the club, its fans and the city of Munich identify. And what Bayern are is a club committed to excellence and success. They've won 5 European Cups and enjoyed unrivaled domestic success. En route to their 5th consecutive UEFA Champions League semi-final, Bayern underlined their character against opposition who threatened to derail their European campaign.
It was very close against Juventus. We needed extra time. We could easily have been knocked out. Things are always so close in football.
We are strong. We are resolute. We are what we are. We showed our character and showed that we were the team that wanted to go through the most against Juventus and then Benfica. It's never easy at this level. You need to give your all. But we managed to score away from home, and that's why we're in the semi-finals.
In the last 2 seasons under Pep Guardiola, Bayern have been eliminated at this stage of the competition by Spanish opposition. Now the Bavarians face Atletico Madrid and will travel to the Vicente Calderón for the first time.
Last year, we were unlucky, as we had lots of players missing through injury. The year before, it was the first season after we won the treble, so the players from the opposing teams were more hungry and had more energy when playing against us.
We have a lot of respect for Atletico. We know how much they're achieving and have achieved already.
They play well in possession and on the counter-attack. They have some excellent players.
We know it will be tough, but we are Bayern Munich.
Guardiola has moulded the Bavarians' attack into a fluid force that exploits the width of the pitch to devastating effect. The development has allowed Bayern's forwards to flourish and has seen the club score a competition high 28 goals.
We are fast. We are versatile.
We are what we are. I think our attacking game has become more complete. Last year we always had a lot of possession of the ball, but now in comparison to last season we're more determined to focus on attack.
Guardiola has shown me what is possible, what I can achieve and what I can improve on. I've had a very decent season. I hope to still score a few more goals, a few important goals, and I hope to win some trophies this season.
Guardiola will leave at the end of the season. The Champions League trophy is the only piece of silverware that's eluded him during his 3 years in Bavaria.
It would be amazing if we could bid farewell to Pep Guardiola by winning the Champions League. For the coach and us, it would be the icing on the cake. After all the time we've spent together at Bayern, I hope it happens.
We are united. We are proud.
We are FC Bayern Munich.
As Bayern aim to reach a 4th Champions League final in only 7 seasons, the club can call upon fond memories of the last showcase to be played at the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza. It was May 2001 on a warm night in Milan, and the Bavarian fans were in full voice 25 years on from their previous European Cup success. Bayern's opponents, Valencia, contesting a 2nd consecutive final. Impressive 2-leg victories over Manchester United and Real Madrid had established the Germans as favourites to lift the coveted trophy.
We were a very difficult team to play against that year. We outperformed our opponents and we had a team of warriors, with Oliver Kahn, Stefan Effenberg and Jens Jeremies. I think that when our opponents saw us, they didn't say, "Okay, let's have a good little game of football." They found it tough to play against us that year.
The opening 7 minutes set a precedent for the remainder of the match. After just 80 seconds, Valencia were awarded a penalty, which captain Gaisca Mendieta converted to put the Spaniards ahead, before Santiago Cañizares denied Mehmet Scholl from 12 yards.
What a bad start. That's what I thought. It wasn't the ideal way to begin a final. But at the same time, one of the weapons of that team was its mental strength. You could go to battle with any of those guys, so I wasn't too worried about those difficult first few minutes.
Undeterred, Bayern began to dominate, and shortly before the hour mark were awarded another penalty. Captain Stefan Effenberg took control.
He was one of our leaders. He was the perfect player to take that penalty and pick the team up through his attitude. He was cold-blooded when taking the penalty, which is never easy when you're playing a final.
Chances were scarce as the game headed towards extra time. Penalties seemed a fitting way to settle the encounter. After 5 each, the teams were level at 3-3. The shootout went to sudden death.
It was a very special moment for me, because when I was at Bordeaux, I took penalties, and in the World Cup quarter-final in 1998, I missed my penalty against Italy. I hadn't taken a penalty since. I decided not to take them anymore, not even during training. And there I was in the Champions League final against Valencia. I hit it as hard as I could. It was like retaking my penalty against Italy and taking the penalty for Bayern Munich at the same time. I didn't just take one penalty that evening, I took 2. I needed to get rid of the frustration from that quarter-final against Italy. It was such a great relief. I put everything I had into that shot.
It was Mauricio Pellegrino's turn to face Bayern's Oliver Kahn.
I knew it was his game. When you have a penalty shootout with a keeper as talented as Oliver, you feel reassured. We all expected him to save that penalty. And when he did, I remember that we ran towards him, and it felt like a 5-kilometer run. I think we won in 2001 because we had lost in 1999. We were stronger than Manchester United that season, but fate meant that they turned things around at the end of the game. It was a real trauma for us, but somehow you get stronger from defeats, from disappointments like that. We took the time to enjoy the moment and say, this is it, we've won the Champions League, it's ours. We only saw the trophy in 1999. It was very close, but we didn't win it. In 2001, it became ours.
Glory on the European stage 2 years after losing the UEFA Champions League final. It's a narrative that Atletico Madrid would love to emulate. Now in his 4th full season at the helm, coach Diego Simeone is continuing to rewrite expectations at the club. Under his leadership, Atleti have won 5 different trophies already and continue to challenge for an historic League and UEFA Champions League double this year.
We are one group of people, directors, kitmen, employees, footballers, supporters, and we're all on the same path. We can win or lose. Football is a game. We have our tools, which we use to make ourselves strong, and we believe in the values of life. And I continue to be proud to work with this fantastic group of lads.
One of world football's most eminent coaches, Simeone has the ability to instill in his players an unflinching loyalty and ferocious commitment.
He has a very close relationship with his players, and he tries to help all of them in terms of things that need adjusting and improving. He tries to get the best out of everyone every day.
Simeone has assembled a team with an outstanding defence and spirit of self-sacrifice. They kept 31 clean sheets in their first 50 matches this season. And having defied injuries and suspensions in the quarter-final defeat of Barcelona, Atletico are in a position to replicate, or even better, the success of 2 years ago.
A team that wins the league and plays in a Champions League final naturally is better than the rest. So that team is better than this one right now. Therefore, this team must keep improving. For Atletico to be among the best 4 teams in Europe is an important step. An important step. Nothing more, nothing extraordinary. Because obviously we are hoping for more.
Every season at Atletico is one of hope, in which all the fans have great expectations, and we try to fulfill our objectives, which are set by the great history of this club. Many young people think that this successful era at Atletico is something new, something unprecedented, but it's not like that. What we experienced 10, 15 years ago, when the team was relegated and the club went through some transition, that was new. What we are experiencing right now is the real Atletico.
Only Bayern stand between Atleti and a place in next month's final in Milan. Pep Guardiola's team are favourites, but Atleti have a coach who's inspired an entire club to trust in his methods and to never stop believing.
I think the phrase "never stop believing" is something that's now immersed in the club. We believe, we work with our resources, and we never deviate from what we want to achieve.
So many people start out thinking, I'm going to be a professional footballer, and you just have to have an awful lot of luck to be in the right place at the right time. I'm so grateful for what I've had. I just love Man City to death. It's always been my club and always will be. I used to clean Bert Troutman's boot and I used to get £0.50 a week for doing them. 680 appearances for Man City. Loved every one of them. I wish I was going through it again.
Alan Oakes is Manchester City's all-time leading appearance maker. After joining the club as a 15-year-old, he would spend 17 years at City, winning the English League Championship and FA Cup. He played in the club's first ever European Cup game and was a key member of the team that won Manchester City's only European trophy 46 years ago.
When we won the Cup Winners' Cup in 1970, it was a dream come true because we were Man City. We were the underdogs in Manchester for many, many years. So for us to do that, it was fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful memories.
When Oakes was taking his first steps as a senior player, Real Madrid, Manchester City's semi-final opponents in this season's competition, were the undisputed kings of Europe.
Such a forward line, Puskas, Di Stefano, Ento, just unbelievable forward play. I think every youngster was inspired to try and play like them. They have Ronaldo, but we've got Aguero, and I think Aguero, he looks like scoring every game. I'm expecting Man City to go through to the final. I think they're good enough to beat Real Madrid over 2 legs. It would be absolutely fantastic if Manchester City won the Champions League. I've been so lucky and had such wonderful experiences. It was just absolutely fantastic to be part of. My name is Alan Oakes and my club is Manchester City.
It's been another record-breaking season for Real Madrid. In their 19th consecutive appearance in Europe's premier club competition, they're into the semi-finals for a record-equalling 6th straight season. And as Real prepare to face Manchester City in the last 4, their indomitable forward Cristiano Ronaldo is once again setting a relentless pace. He's scored 16 goals in 10 games and is the first player to score 3 hat-tricks in a single season. The 10-time champions of Europe have their sights on La Undécima. 60 years ago, Real became the inaugural champions of Europe, defeating Stade de Reims in the 1956 final in Paris. A period of incredible dominance had begun, aided by an exciting left winger who would create his own lasting legacy, Francisco Gento.
It was a very tough match in Paris. They scored the first 2 goals. The cup was there to be won, and we came back to win it. Di Stefano scored, and then Real grabbed the winner near the end. Lifting the European Cup after all those matches was incredibly exciting. I was delighted. We went down in European Cup history.
A year later at the Santiago Bernabeu, Real would retain their title, defeating Fiorentina.
We won 2-0, and I scored the second goal. It was a good match, and for Real Madrid, it was especially marvellous. In front of our own fans, we clinched our second European Cup. I think that the most difficult match was against Milan, when it went to extra time. Because although some of the other finals were tough, the Milan final was the most important one. My teammate said to me, "Paco, you're the only person who can win it for us by scoring a goal." They were a very strong team at the time. I said, "Okay." Milan really battled hard. They had a great side. I managed to score the winning goal. I'll never forget it.
Victories in the finals of 1959 and 1960 saw Real win the first 5 editions of the competition. Gento playing in every game alongside the great Alfredo Di Stefano.
Alfredo Di Stefano was like my older brother. I looked up to him. I came here when I was very young, 19, and he was 27. He did things that I'd simply never seen before. He would sacrifice everything he had during a match. I think he was a player that practically created Real Madrid's style of play.
Gento captained Real to the 1962 and 1964 finals. Los Blancos would lose both games. But in 1966, 10 years after their first victory, Gento would lift the trophy for a final time, as Real defeated Partizan Belgrade 2-1 in Brussels.
I was a grandfather to all of them. It was tough for us. We were all Spaniards playing in the final, which was simply beautiful. Winning the cup again, especially after a few years without winning it, with an all-Spanish team that nobody believed in, was a moment of immense joy.
In all, Francisco Gento would appear in 89 European Cup games, scoring 32 goals. He remains the only player to have won the competition 6 times.
It's a record that was very difficult to achieve, because I played for 15 consecutive seasons at a time when only the champions competed in it. We were the kings. The European Cup is the most important target for a club. At Real Madrid, it's the one that makes you a great. And winning it means you're spoken about all over the world.
The UEFA Champions League semi-finals are upon us. Manchester City host Real, Atletico and Bayern meet for the first time in 42 years.
Next week, we're with a man creating his own remarkable legacy, Cristiano Ronaldo.